Can you build a future with someone who breaks it down faster than you can fix it? Hi, my name is Alex and welcome to my channel. This is a story of Tessa and Wesley who came to Caleb Hammer for some financial advice that will uncover some deeper problems. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the show, Caleb invites people to his podcast/YouTube show where he helps them to figure out their finances, how and why they have dug themselves into a financial hole. Let's quickly do a rundown of all the facts. My hair is living its own life today, so I'm sorry. But Tessa, she is 26-year-old, works as an animal control officer, usually in shelters, brings home $26,000 US per year. Now her husband, he brings home $70,000 a year. Now the question is, why are they on this show? So let's dive right into it.
No, we've been together since high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I work in the power line industry.
Yeah, you do. That makes more sense.
Around when we had our daughter, and I became an assistant project manager.
We have a kid.
Yes.
What's the age of the kid?
16 months.
Oh, okay. Is this the only kid?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir.
So with that, I mean, we make as a household $108,000 a year. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So why the f are you on this show?
I like to spend money and not tell my wife.
He's really honest right away about the problems that they have. Yeah, he spends a lot of money and doesn't tell his wife about it. At the end of the show, they're going to calculate the total debt that they're in. I was mind blown that someone who makes such a good, sustainable income can get into such a deep hole. And not only financially, but also in regards to their relationship.
Yeah, that's a classic situation on the show at this point. Would you agree that's why you're here?
Yes.
We bicker a lot. Growing up, my parents fought about money, so it's never made me comfortable to talk about, and I always feel like I'm being judged for how I spend my money when I make the money.
Fair point, fair point. However, it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're spending all of them. And not only you're spending all of them, you're spending more than all of them. You're getting your family in debt. In horrible, horrible debt that's going to take years to recover.
Can't take it with me when I die.
Yeah, but when you die, statistically, it will be multiple decades from now and you already have a kid.
Yeah.
I talk a lot right before we go to bed normally.
It's a horrible time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I talk a lot to him
What?
right before bed because I feel like he's trapped. He can't go anywhere.
Well,
and so I
sure,
get all
talk.
my words in for the day. and
Well,
then-
you want to get in all the bullshit, though?
Talking before bed, absolutely horrible time to do that. Because before nighttime, usually we're tired and our brain just wants to relax and we don't really want to talk about difficult things.
He started
Yeah, but
just-
it's confrontational at that.
Very confrontational.
Yeah.
I had spent a lot of money and that I was not proud of how far I had let it go.
What did you actually say, please? I want to be in on this to know how this goes.
I said that we were going to have to make some payments or get a personal loan. Yeah, to afford the payment. Because
afford the fucking payment?
Yeah, the payment.
Oh,
was really high.
$106,000 a year net in a pretty cheap area. F me, okay.
I took all my credit cards out of my wallet, like the dramatic queen I am, and bent them in front of her and threw them at her. Not aggressively, but
Just
I
more
tossed
like
them.
at the floor, angrily, with all that because I try and plan things and I want.
Wait a minute. Oh. So they tried to talk about finances. He spent too much money and they're gonna have to take out a loan to afford the monthly payments on the credit cards. And then he became angry and destroyed the cards and threw it at her angrily. It's giving a 5-year-old that just gets angry and throws toys around because they cannot control their emotions. He's 28 years old. What are you doing?
I find out, well, we're kind of in a little bit of a hole.
A little bit of a hole is an incredible understatement. Once we're gonna get through the video, you'll understand just how deep they are in the hole.
The accounts are splitting it.
But
Yeah.
the accounts are both of our accounts.
Yes. So
Why? Why are we doing that?
Because if there's money in our main account, it gets spent versus.
Do you have no self-control?
Not really. I really don't.
Okay, and you recognize this and
Yeah.
you're telling me this, so why have you not worked on this?
Because I don't care. I just like to spend money.
Then you guys
I
aren't.
like gadgets.
Then how the f are you guys gonna make it then? If you just straight.
Wait, the first 10 minutes of the video, he basically outed why they're having problems. For the last 10 years that they've been in a relationship, They're married, they met in high school, and they've been having problems with money. And I think this right here shows why they're having problems. He just said he doesn't care. And not only why you're spending money, but why are you not doing something to improve the situation, to conquer that addiction? And he just says he doesn't care. You know why psychologists say that people don't argue about money, and any argument about money is much deeper and about deeper topics? In this dynamic, this is what argument is about. It's about him not caring about his family, about her, about his child, and her trying to make him care. And it's just not working because you cannot make someone care. That's just out of your control.
So,
Yeah.
so what are we talking about then? Like, how are you guys going to survive at that point? You guys as a couple.
That's a
I
good
spend the
question,
money.
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Why is he smiling? They're discussing a serious topic, how he's putting his family into an absolutely stupid debt. They're not gaining any assets in return. And he's smiling. I'm trying to understand his thinking process. Maybe he just feels uncomfortable and put on a spotlight. It just seems a bit out of place.
I feel like we're constantly trying to get our way out of a hole. And I don't
How
know.
do you get out of a hole when he has that mindset?
I have no idea.
You don't. Simple answer. Because for the last 10 years, he's been showing the same behavior. He recognizes the problem, yet doesn't take any steps on solving it. He doesn't care about solving it. The debt keeps growing. The stress keeps growing. You're screwed.
How do you get out of the hole, guy?
By not doing what I've been doing.
Yeah, but you don't care.
I want to
Self-admitted.
care. Yeah.
Well, you
care.
want to care, but you don't care. So what the fuck is going to change? It's going to have to be like a massive wake up or something.
I mean, yeah. I think the massive wake up is the future for my daughter. I want
Yeah,
her
but
to have
it's
a
already
good
been
future.
16 months, dude.
I know.
You have a child. 16 months later, you're still doing the same thing. She's in a position where she cannot financially support herself and has to stick around with him, with a person that admitted that he doesn't care.
Well, she can't spend any of it right now anyway. I mean, it's my money. Yeah.
My money. Not our money, my money.
It is my money that she uses. I travel for work, so I live in a fifth wheel 2 hours from home to come
2
home
hours?
2
How often are
hours.
you home?
every other weekend if I can.
Every other, you only see him 4 days a week or a month?
Sometimes, yeah. And sometimes it's
How
just.
are you guys surviving that? Well, he's just blowing all his money and he doesn't care. Well, he's also gone for 90% of a month. Debt. You said debt is keeping you up, so you just ignore it. But it's getting worse by $1,500 on a monthly basis. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Again, that is you putting your own self joy over your wife, over your daughter.
She doesn't tell me no very often. And that's the other problem. I feel like if we had an actual conversation and maybe broke it down and I explained to her reasons I needed something or wanted.
Needed?
Needed is a very strong word.
He wants to have a conversation and he believes if they had a conversation, it would be better. However, she said, and he agreed, that the conversations don't go well. His family always bickered about money, so he just doesn't want to talk about it. He feels attacked. He feels ashamed as well. So he doesn't generally talk about it, and it always ends up in fights, in him getting angry, in her crying. So they do try to talk about it, and from the looks of it, she's the one that actually initiates the conversation, but he's the one that would stop it by the ways of getting angry or just deflecting the conversation into the other ways, avoiding constructive conversation. And yet here he's saying that he wants to have that. So I'm just a bit confused about how that makes sense. Also, blaming her is so disgraceful, saying that she doesn't say no all the times and putting it on her is just, he's blaming his problem on her to avoid responsibility. She probably learned to avoid these conversations over time, because over 10 years, if any time you bring up a conversation of money and that conversation ends up in you being in tears, in him being angry, cutting up cards, throwing it at you, I don't know if he's verbally abusive, I hope not, but if conversations about money end up like that, obviously you're going to have less and less conversations about money, because who wants to fight? She wants to avoid the conflict.
How does that make sense? You're able to fully acknowledge this. It's like you are recognizing this. You know this. So
Yes.
why the continue the thing that you know is bad from your childhood?
I don't know. I just like to fucking spend money on random
No.
things. I just buy shit that I think is shiny.
Again, he's smiling. They're talking about a serious topic and he's just laughing about it. Weird.
I have the app on my phone.
She has to ask for it? So you
She
guys
doesn't
don't
have
sit
to.
down
No, we don't.
because you're afraid of the confrontation. You're afraid of him getting his feelings hurt. You're afraid of getting your feelings hurt, all that, whatever.
I mean, yeah, I'm just afraid of starting an argument and getting mad.
Why don't you just like?
Why is he afraid of getting mad? She should be getting mad. Who are you getting mad at? Yourself? Then do something about it. Go and change your ways. Go and fix your problem. Talking about money makes you angry. Go to the support groups for anger management. You are in a family. You have a 16 months daughter. You need to get your shit together. He's deflecting all of his problems. I know it's wrong, but I keep doing it. She doesn't say no. She doesn't ask me for the details about the account. I'm afraid of getting mad. It's all just deflecting the responsibility onto other people instead of taking ownership of the situation and trying to fix it. But obviously, as we saw in the beginning of the video, he just simply doesn't care. What can you do if a person doesn't care?
High interest credit card debt that is accruing $239.38 in interest on a monthly basis. $28 in fees. Why?
Late fee.
Do you even know that?
No. I don't have access to that account because I'm not on it.
You don't have access? You're not allowed to look? You don't know the login?
No. It's just under.
Why
his-
doesn't she have access?
She's never asked for it. I haven't.
Wow, she's never asked for it. That's lying by omission. Doing something that you know is wrong and blaming your partner that they didn't ask and that's why you didn't tell them is lying.
I'm just taking your energy and just looking at you, and I can't tell if either you're passive in life or if you don't care or if you've just given up. Which one is it?
I kind of feel like I've given up a little bit because I don't know what to do.
Your wife has given up. You're just okay with this. And you're okay with just popping the Zen and blasting through Amazon and ordering shit that you don't have on a credit card that is at, $12,000. You're okay with this. Your wife is saying she no longer cares, or that she's given up, and it's because of you, and you just do nothing. And earlier you said you do not care.
Yeah.
Neglected her feelings completely. There was no sign of him caring, turning towards her and saying, hey, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. No acknowledgement of her feelings. And then admitting to the fact that he doesn't care for the second time on the show. I don't understand, what is she hoping to get out of this relationship when you're with someone who just doesn't care? He's smirking while she's talking about how deeply hurt she is.
Fortunately, I feel like that's the way things are going.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, he seems to be totally fine with the way the things are going.
What are you going to do?
I have no idea. Just kind of struggling.
What have you done?
I don't know. Not a whole lot. I feel like we're just constantly in this hole of trying to get out and then
What have you tried these last 6 months?
try to talk more about things and try and look into the future rather than just right now.
And what's happened when you try?
I get emotional.
Uh-huh.
I don't really see a way out at this point. So
She doesn't know what she's doing. Lost in this, man, because she can't do anything about you because you don't care. You don't care to change.
That is true.
And she's
It's
giving
the third time he
up.
admitted that he doesn't care.
How long until she gives up on you in the marriage?
I don't know. I'm hoping that doesn't
How can
happen.
you hope that it doesn't happen when 3 times in a row you said you don't care? And it's not just about finance. It's not just about spending. It's putting your family in debt. Right now it's only 12,000 on the screen. It's way more. Putting your family in debt, your wife, putting her in a position where she's struggling so much. Your daughter, 16 months old, she's going to have to grow up with a student debt because you didn't manage to save any money. She's going to grow up without any assets in her name. She's going to struggle. You're putting up your daughter for a life of struggle and you don't care. And you hope that your wife won't leave you. She's staying in this relationship hoping that something will change, but clearly it won't. For 10 years, it didn't change. His daughter was born. 16 months has passed. Nothing changed. This whole situation is on a trajectory to hell.
Be honest with me. Have you thought about just calling it quits?
no.
Really? I respect that. That's love.
I also couldn't make it on my own either because I don't make enough to support me and my daughter.
But that shouldn't be what's keeping you there if it is.
It's not, but even if that was an option, I don't have a way to support myself. I don't make enough by myself.
Right. This is a very unfortunate situation that she's in. She's not able to get out of it because she's not making enough money. I sense that she's stuck in a victim mindset because I've been in that position before where it just seems like there are absolutely no ways out. There's no chance that you can change anything, and you just feel like your life is stuck. There's no light at the end of tunnel. Right now, her focus in trying to fix the situation by changing him. She's trying, like when Caleb asked her, what do you want to do, right? Like, what are we going to do about it? And what have you tried doing about it? Everything she tried to do is directed at him or somehow involves him. And clearly this is not working because you cannot change the other person. You cannot change him unless he wants to change. He already stated 3 times even more that he is not going to change because he doesn't care. The only thing she can do now is focus on her own life and flip your mind from trying to fix the situation by fixing him to fix the situation by taking control of her own life and her own finances. And even though right now it seems like there's nothing that she can do, there's always a way. She could learn how to like get into beauty industry, nails, lashes. When you change your mindset to start to look for opportunities instead of having that mindset where I cannot do anything, your life will gradually and slowly improve. In this situation, she desperately needs to shift her focus from trying to change him to trying to see what can I do to make my life better so I don't struggle, so my daughter doesn't struggle, so our family doesn't struggle. And yes, it's not her fault that she's in this situation. It's an unfortunate situation, yes, but it will not improve on its own.
I don't make enough, and I don't have an education to go do anything better.
She is absolutely victim. But the more she stays in that victim mindset, the worse the situation is going to get. Let's project 5 years. They're in more debt. She still doesn't have any more education. She works the same job that she cannot support herself with, and it's just looking really sad. Is she at fault? No, but it's in her own best interest to start doing something, to start taking even the tiniest little steps on trying to get out of this hole, not by changing him, but changing something within herself.
This man.
I know.
He's smiling.
You don't give.
This is why we don't have our budget conversations.
No, this is why you need to have your budget conversations.
I don't like to see her upset.
That doesn't matter. You make her upset with what you're doing. You're blaming her for being upset for why you're not willing to have the conversations when you're the one that have gotten you guys in the position where you need to have the budget conversations. What the are you talking about?
Absolutely. It's normal for people to cry and experience negative emotions when they're faced with this feeling of dread. It's normal to go through tears. It's normal to be upset. Sit with those feelings. Give her space to express those feelings. There's no sign that he is attuned to her emotions, that there's no sign that he cares about her emotions at all.
How do you not see how ridiculous this is? Get your wife a fucking tissue.
Yeah, I don't. At this point, I don't know what the fuck to do anymore.
Talk. You're not willing to.
I don't know what to do is another deflection because it's so easy to say I don't know what to do. It's such a quick exit out of a situation. And why is he saying that? Because he doesn't care.
I feel like a lot of times he's an emotional spender, and if he's upset, he'll just try and go buy something to give himself that fix, but then he's just digging the hole even deeper by doing that. And I don't know how to change that. I've tried to talk to him about it.
And then you're not willing to discuss.
Yeah, I hide it a lot.
Most of the credit cards are just in his name.
You have a kid now.
Mm-hmm.
That bond is keeping you guys together through this and helping, but how long can she be pushed? How long can she feel completely destroyed and broken down and unable to talk and communicate with her significant other? How long can she feel that way? How long can she feel completely given up before either she's just a silent corpse existing in the house or until she decides to leave the house?
I don't want either of those things.
He doesn't want it, but he's taking all the steps necessary to lead to that situation. And honestly, he's saying, I don't want it, and smiling. It's a weird feeling that I have that he actually does want it. Completely wild take, but that's just what I got from this.
I don't want things to always be this way. I want to get better and see the light at the end of the tunnel. And
I
be able
know
to make...
you want to, but you can't do that alone.
No.
That's not on you to start.
Right, so he says, it's not on you. It is on you. It is on her. And I'm trying to phrase it correctly because I don't want to appear as if I'm blaming her. But what I'm trying to say is that when you're in a position where your partner is digging you and your family into a deeper and deeper hole while consciously agreeing that he does not care and he's not going to change this position, the only variable left that can change the situation is you. In this situation, it's her. She needs to try to figure out what the hell she's going to do.
For us.
What does she know about the truck situation and what you did with that? What does she know?
She thinks the truck's paid off. It's not paid off. And I missed a payment.
He just admitted to hiding the fact that his truck is not paid off, and there was absolutely no sign of remorse. There was no sign of him being sorry. It's an absolute tragedy.
Absolutely. Take your time.
Right? Where's the love? Where is the hug? Something to support her. You can see she's kind of leaning towards him. Even though she is crying and mad at him, she's leaning towards him for some support. And this man is appearing completely cold, completely closed off, no emotional attunement, no support, nothing. My heart breaks for her.
There's just always something else waiting.
Is there anything else, man? Is there anything else that I don't know that she doesn't know?
The
Just
Amex is
get it
higher.
out. Huh?
The Amex credit card is higher.
How much higher?
$2,049.
Right.
How can you feel
And
like
there's
this?
more lies. There are more lies coming. How do you trust a person that constantly lies to you?
I don't. I hate saying I'm not the problem.
You're
but
not
I'm
the problem.
not.
You're not the problem.
I don't know what to do to change.
Less the addiction side, but still the behavior of an addict. The dude's not going to change unless he changes. And if he doesn't, you're essentially just allowing yourself to stay with an alcoholic forever. What is going through your head right now?
I fucked up.
You fucked up. Listen to your language. You don't give a fuck and you're not going to change.
Right, it's easy to say, I fucked up. That's what he resorts to continuously, because taking ownership would require you to take actionable steps towards solving the problem, but he's just not interested in that at all.
Do you think he's going to change? Down in your heart, I know you hope. Do you think?
I think he can.
You think he can, but you've been with him this entire time. So answer the question. Do you think he's going to change?
No.
Yeah. My own wife doesn't have faith in me.
He's smirking and deflecting again. He has failed her and he needs to change. He needs to do something about it to win her trust back. And instead he's smirking and giving this comment, yeah, my own wife has given up on me. My wife is the problem. I'm not the problem. My wife has given up on me. This is the reason why victims stay in the victim mindset, because usually victim mindset is a people pleaser mindset. It's someone who wants to be good. She desperately wants to be a good wife. She loves him. She is a family. She's a mother. She wants to be a good person. When he says, yeah, my own wife doesn't believe in me, he basically says, you are a bad wife. You are a bad person. And as a people pleaser, she feels hurt and she feels like, oh my God, I need to be a better wife, trying to preserve that image of a good girl. And when you step outside of that victim mindset, when you start working on your self-worth, you become more comfortable with the fact that you can be an asshole. If holding you accountable means I'm an asshole, I accept the fact that I'm an asshole. I accept this label you put on me because I cannot stay in this position anymore. I need something to change. I need you to change. And if this makes me an unfaithful wife, a bad wife in your eyes, I am okay with that. You need to go through that when you step outside of victim mindset.
I feel so bad for you. I want everything in my heart right now as I want to fix this for you. It's not a situation where you can leave. You're not in a position to. You're trapped. You're trapped and you've given up as well. What does tonight look like when we leave here?
A long conversation back home. I'm going
She'll
to attempt.
try.
Yeah.
What does your attempt look like?
Not yelling.
Do you yell?
Occasionally.
He gets heated.
What do you yell about? This
Absolutely.
is all you.
Absolutely. What are you yelling about? It's all your fault. That's why he's yelling about it. He feels extremely uncomfortable with discussing his finances because he feels a lot of shame and guilt around that, but he's not taking any actions to fix it. His reaction is to get out of this uncomfortable feeling, and he learned that the best way to do it is to yell, because then she starts crying and he can just exit the conversation right there and then and blame her for crying, and then the conversation is over, the discomfort is over. Great, he doesn't have to change anything about himself, and that's it.
Academy. What is this?
That is my card. I went to Academy with a friend of mine, and they had some jackets on clearance during when it was cold.
You couldn't have
And I-
just bought them.
Do you have any insight into this card?
No. So
Tell her what happened.
I hit a late fee because I forgot I used the card.
maybe you shouldn't use the cards, and then there's not a late fee. If you would have just bought it outright with the debit card, you wouldn't have had to worry about that.
There was no money in the debit card.
Then maybe don't spend money you don't have.
Well,
It's really simple.
I needed a jacket.
Because you didn't have any at
They were
home.
At home. I couldn't leave work to go
I
get
think
a
you
jacket.
had a jacket. Did you have a jacket?
Not a work jacket.
Okay.
You have a late fee.
For a jacket.
For a jacket. 2 jackets.
Somehow every single item that he buys is absolutely necessary, absolutely valid, and yet somehow they're in crumbling debt at the end of it.
Yeah, this is at 36%. This card, the card we're just talking about.
The Academy.
36 for fucking percent. You're just sitting, you're not even paying. Sitting, not even paying. Well, your wife is at home trying to raise your kid and also work. I don't know what to do. I don't want you in this situation, and I don't know what to do. I can get you guys out of debt. That depends on him changing. You agree with me that you don't think he's gonna change. What the f do I do about you? Because you're the one I want to save here. How the f You're the fan of the show, but she's the one I like.
I'm really hoping this wakes him up.
Hope.
This needs to wake you up and see what your partner is doing to you, your family, and your daughter. It's rough. It's rough to wake up to this because it hurts. It hurts to understand that you're with a person that's dragging you into this, and also admit to the fact that he's not going to do anything about it. Stop wishing that he changes and fixes your life and everything will be better. This is not his wake-up call. This is your wake-up call to figure out what is it that you can do so you can get stable, so you can support your child, because he's not going to do it.
That's all I have at this point.
How long have you been hoping?
A while.
Exactly.
Oh, Summit Outdoor. I bought a cup that I saw on Instagram
On a credit card.
on a credit card.
You guys get along normally,
Other than finances, yes.
but how often is that versus finances?
I would
We get along just
say
fine.
most of the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I
How
think
often is finances? How often is that?
I think we have a good spout once a month.
Wait,
About
And
so
finances, probably, yeah.
they see each other twice a month. He comes home every other weekend, and they have a good spout once a month. That's 50% of the time. Half of your relationship life is being spent arguing. One weekend you're arguing, another weekend you're probably tired of arguing, so she keeps her mouth shut, doesn't bring up the finance because she just wants to have a good weekend, so she doesn't bring it up. And then next weekend she again gets stressed about the finances, brings up the dog pick, and they fight, and it keeps on going.
Why is it even a spout though? What defense do you have? You don't have a defense.
Like I'm not
You
allowed to spend.
because you are the problem. You legitimately are.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes addressing it. He'd rather it just be hidden, and he hopes that it'll figure itself out on its own somehow.
It really. The minimum payment on this is $876. $876.03. $40,000, $255.71 balance on a fucking Hyundai 2023 Palisade. And why? Why do you have this? It's worth $18,000 and you owe $40,000 on it. It's worth $18,000.
That's sad.
Didn't want to? Then why did you?
I wanted to.
But it's not even your driver.
We were expecting, and I wanted her to have a new vehicle to be safe.
Oh, it's a safety thing. What, do you think 2022 was all of a sudden just a wildly dangerous year of car?
Well, the problem with the 2022 and the 2023 was
Yeah.
they were the same price.
What about 2021? You think that was a wildly dangerous time? 2020, 2019, 2018, where was everyone dying? Everyone was dying in their Hondas in 2019, 2018?
In 2023 was recommended as the safest vehicle.
When you try to have a conversation with him about unreasonable spendings, a $40,000 car, they were not in a position to afford that car to buy it. He insisted. Trying to talk any sense into him is completely useless because he always have rational explanation, rational to him. He doesn't accept any blame, or not even blame. He doesn't accept responsibility. He doesn't say, well, yeah, I could have gotten an older car. It would have been a better decision. There's nothing like this. What financial stability are we talking about when every single purchase that they make is completely rational in their own head? When he's faced with this blame in general, as an overall thing, when his wife says, you spent too much money, he says, yes, I do. It's my fault. Yeah, I effed up. But when you start digging and trying to break it down piece by piece and ask him, okay, what is this 2 jackets for that you don't need? What is this $40,000 car for? He has an explanation for every single purchase. Every single purchase is completely reasonable in his head, while in reality it is not reasonable at all. It's impossible to have any constructive conversation with a person like that. There's no way to talk any sense into them.
Dramatically dangerous. Is that what you're saying?
They're not dramatically dangerous. I just don't see why you
I get it,
spend
but guess
saying
what? You no longer have money. You don't have money. Look at you guys. Look at you guys. She's been in tears half the episode because of what you're doing. When she pushes back on things, is she ever able to win?
No.
Why are you still with him? Even loving him, why are you still with him? Because how is this going to turn out in the end? Sometimes you just have to fucking cut off what you love, man. Why are you still with him?
Because I see our future together.
What future? What future are you seeing? Because you don't want to end up in 10 years with how it's growing. It will be like $1 million debt. Your daughter is suffering. Your daughter cannot afford college, or she has to get into huge student debt that's in the United States. They can still stay together. She doesn't have to divorce him, but she needs to support herself. She needs to stand her own ground. She needs to be independent from him. If he changes and everything gets better, it's a win-win for everyone. She's stable. He's stable. It's amazing. They love each other. But in a situation where it does not get better, it's so important to be able to support herself. It's so important to be able to stand on her own 2 feet.
Future of him dominating everything and you not having a single say? That's the future?
No, I'm really hoping it's different.
Hoping.
But why? There's no sign that it's going to be different. Even after this whole episode, she still is delusional that it's going to change. But it hasn't changed in the last 10 years that they've been together. It hasn't changed since the birth of their daughter. Having a child is the strongest catalyst for change that there is for people. So many stories when people were at the lowest low, they had a child, and the child motivated them to start doing something with their life, to start getting better, making more money, becoming more responsible, standing on their own 2 feet. If this, the strongest catalyst there is, having a child, did not change anything in him, nothing will. Literally nothing.
You've hoped for a decade.
I still have hope. Somehow.
I know exactly what you want to do. And that is a fucking lie.
I want to buy another car.
Yeah, what do you want to buy?
A Tesla.
Okay. And guess what? You guys have conversations. She says, no, we can't afford it. And you don't give a you always win because you just do it. He's going to go get a $45,000 Tesla Model Y. He's just going to go do it. And there's nothing that can be done. You're going to deal with that forever for the next, 6 decades? You're just going to let that happen. You're just going to be okay with it.
Shifting that perspective to her and asking her, how is she going to allow that? Getting that sense of responsibility into her, responsibility for her own life. Making her start thinking about, what am I going to do? How my life is going to look like. And also empowering her that she has power to change her life. She does not have to depend on him.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 debts.
That's a lot.
Well done. And she has to sit and think about this, and she wants to fix it, and then you won't do anything to do it because this is a great, healthy relationship.
After calculating all of the debt, their total debts comes to almost $400,000. Now, more than half of it is mortgage. The rest is bad debt. It's a debt that doesn't give you any assets. It's stuff that he keeps buying even though he doesn't have the capacity. Digging his family deeper and deeper into a hole. How can you build happy and healthy family with someone who breaks down your life faster than you can fix it? They go over all the finances, the debt payments, mortgage payments, utilities, car insurance, gas, internet, phone, blah, 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 blah. They're making $9,000 a month. It's a good income. So much you can do with this income in the area where they live. Debt payments, a third of their income. Completely unnecessary payments that debt payment is bad debt payment. He was so happy that he bought 2 jackets that he needed for $30. They were on sale. He doesn't understand, I guess, that with the interest on credit cards is insane. Isn't like 25% on some of them. You're gonna end up paying full price for the jacket after you pay out the interest. Basically anything you buy that's on sale, you're going to end up paying more because you're gonna pay interest for that with your minimal monthly payment you can barely afford.
This is your choice. This is literally your choice to be in this debt. That means for your normal month, you have $1,133.44. We'll just call it 1,000 for some wiggle room. $1,000 left. Okay.
Imagine making $9,000 and only 1/9 of it is for your wants and needs. $500 per month for fun money per each person is nothing. It's like a bit over $100 a week. You make $9,000 as a family a month. It's really sad. They could have traveled. They could have invested into their daughter for her education. They could have invested in their own education, new experiences, restaurants, just living life.
You guys have $144,688 of really bad debt. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but that's 144 months to pay off the debt.
12 years.
Wow.
12 years of your life living on this budget. Let's say you live 85 years. You kind of become an adult at 20, so 85 minus 20. So you kind of have 65 years of, that's 18, rounding it up, 20% of their life is going to look like this. $1,000 of fun money a month, so $500 each. Paying off debt while he will most likely dig them even deeper. This should be a wake-up call, and I don't think they understand the severity of the situation. At least he doesn't understand, because when he was talking about a new Tesla that he cannot afford, he just didn't care. You can take a look and say, well, it's not too bad. $100 a week is still better than what some people have in terms of money to spend on fun. They have a daughter. All this money is not being invested into any funds for college, no education fund. There's no retirement. I mean, actually they do have some retirement through their work, so that's good, but still work retirement is not enough to have a comfortable life. And this, with this income, it's a criminal offense in my opinion to not invest more money into your retirement and your daughter's college fund. It's absolutely devastating, the position that they're at, because of his addiction and because of also her. She's participating, she's tolerating that behavior, she agrees to that. Let's give him, some responsibility lays on her too, whether she wants it or not, whether it's not. I know it doesn't sound nice. I know it doesn't sound nice to say that responsibility is on her as well. A wake-up call is needed. Someone needs to come into your life and tell you, yes, this sucks what happened to you, but there is a way out. And step 1 is taking your own life in your own control and not relying on anyone else to do it for you.
This is brutal. When something's looking over, well over a decade, when you make good money, bankruptcy sometimes.
Yeah.
Can be considered an option. It's stressful, it's expensive, but this is a brutal situation. You guys can probably pay it down in 8 years if you bring in an extra $500 a month. I'm sure you guys are both lovely people outside of the financial situation, but finances, which is one of the leading causes for divorce in this country, I don't know how you guys are going to make it. You have the baby right now holding it together a bit more. I don't know what you guys are going to do a few years from now. Good luck. And I just feel bad for you. I really do.
Well, this was a heavy video to go through. And if you're still here, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was not easy to witness the situation and sympathize with them. My original idea was to also include a segment where we talk about victim mentality and how to get out of it. But I think the video is already too heavy. There was a lot to go through and a lot to discuss. So I will create a new video to jump off this topic, to talk about victim mentality and how you can get out of the situation and switch to have growth mentality, because this journey is so dear to me. It's something that I went through. So there's a lot that I want to share about it. It can change your life. It is super powerful, and some people underestimate the importance of it. But that is the topic for the next video. So if you like this one, if you enjoyed watching it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.